Abram had 3 guests, and they said to him, "Where is Sarah, your wife?" He answered, "She is in the tent." He said, the guest, "I will surely return to you about the time of life. Then Sarah, your wife, shall have a son." Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tent that was behind them. Abram and Sarah were old, advanced in years, and the way of women had ceased to be with Sarah. Therefore Sarah laughed on her inside and said to herself, "After I am worn out, shall I have pleasure? Furthermore, my Lord is old." The Lord, the guest, said to Abram, "Why does Sarah laugh and ask herself, shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you about the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son." But Sarah denied, saying, "I did not laugh," for she was afraid. However, the guest insisted, "No, but you did laugh." Do you have in mind that in one chapter ago, it was Abram who laughed, and now Sarah laughs? And did you realize that God reacts to the laughter of Abram totally different than to the laughter of Sarah? What is the difference between Abram's laughter when he was told that he will have a son and Sarah's laughter? Or does God approve if men laugh and he doesn't like if women laugh? There are different theories, and I'd like to encourage you to think about it, to read the text and to make up your mind again. One rabbi says that Abram's laughter was jubilation. He was full of joy that finally I will get the son. However, Samson Raphael Hirsch, whom I've mentioned several times, from the 19th century, a German rabbi, has a very good feeling for language. And he says, no. If there is talk of laughter, it is a sneer, a disdainful laugh, a kidding game. It's not really joy. It's ironic. A laugh that carries with it a certain negation, condemnation. How is that possible? What makes you laugh? Just think about it. You might come from different cultures, and maybe my examples are not really fitting, but normally it is something unexpected, a contradiction, a contrast, something that does not match that makes us laugh. If you see a big fat woman and a small skinny man walking together hand in hand, or if you see a little kid that wants to push away a house, or if a single person wants to influence or even stop the waves of the infinite sea by spooning out the sea with a thimble. Or if you have 2 very old people, nearly 100 years old, and they want to have a baby. That's ridiculous. Samson Raphael Hirsch concludes, and I want to read this passage to you. He says the whole beginning of the Jewish people is ridiculous. Its history, its expectations, its hopes are ridiculous. And I would like to add here in brackets, even if you see its modern state of Israel, it's ridiculous. The whole life of the Jewish people, Samson Raphael Hirsch continues, is sustained by these hopes and appears to the normal understanding that is calculating reason, which only considers the ordinary, natural relations of causality, as the most monstrous, ridiculous pretension. It only becomes reasonable. Indeed, it acquires the supreme gracious seriousness if it takes the first and highest causality of all causalities, if it takes as its basis the judgment of the deep-seated, free, all-powerful will and free, all-powerful accomplishments of a free, almighty God. So everything God does will seem ridiculous to us, and the more intelligent we are, the more ridiculous it will be if we do not take into account that there's a mighty God who always does things that might look supernatural to us. So what's the difference between Abram's laughter and Sarah's laughter? Look at the text. In Genesis 17:17, it says that Abram fell on his face and laughed. And with Sarah, it says here in our text, and Sarah laughed into herself, and then she denied it. What Abram does very simply, he pours out his doubt. He says, yes, Lord, what you tell me, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'll never grasp it with my mind. But he surrenders to the Lord. He falls on his face. He says, you are Lord, whatever you do. And Sarah laughs into herself. So it's not a question whether we have doubt. These texts teach us. It's a question how we deal with the doubt within us. And if we bring it to God, He looks at it in a very different way than we hide it from Him and we pretend that we are something faithful, something full of faith. Look at Yitzchak's birth, at Isaac's birth, we cannot avoid but laughing. We cannot stop laughing. And it's Abraham that laughs, it's Sarah that laughs. And then Yitzchak, his name means one laughs, or who laughs, somebody laughs. In the end, if you look at what God does with Israel, and if you look at it with a reasonable mind, the whole world just laughs.
Alfa